Welcome to all of you to the series on the systematic reviews now. Part of my ROL, that is the review of literature, had been taken care from my side, and there were few scholars who were requesting me to give them certain explanation on and clarifications with respect to the systematic reviews. Going forward, I would be not be calling systematic reviews. I would be using the abbreviated form of it, that is SR. Now, in this particular part, first of all, I need to question. I have done the ROL and I have prepared that particular Excel sheet and it is in front of me. Am I happy with it? Now, the question arises systematic reviews. Okay, now the first question is, do I really need them? Now, that's how you need to start off with your systematic review and proceed further. First and foremost, it's not necessary that, once you have completed with the, what I call it as the first step of your ROL, then it is necessary for us to go forward for the systematic review. However, because in the contemporary times, I'm seeing that everybody would like to go ahead with systematic review without knowing, why should I do systematic review? What exactly is a systematic review? Do I really need them? Now, these are the three questions that you first of all have to raise for yourself. And if you really feel that yes, I need, then you start off asking the question, is it opt for the good ROL? Now, first of all, consider your ROL, the first ROL that you have done. Is it really a good one? Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, did I complete my ROL? You should take your ROL sheet to your supervisor or the guide or the expert in that particular area, sit with them for some time and showcase to them, see, I have done this. Is this sufficient for my research, or do you think that I need to proceed further with more research into it? And identify the gap. Even if you have identified a couple of them, I think it's sufficient. And if you are not satisfied with it, then the question comes in that I should go in for the further systematic review, which requires a much more deeper studies. Now, in this case, now the questions, you see, the ROL sheet that I have explained last time just restricted to identify the gap, what my variables were, what was the research design, what was the research methodology, tool, techniques that we have done. Now the question comes for the gap. Okay, first and foremost, you need to question, is it meaningful one for me? Does it have any meaning for my research? When I'm talking about my research, you need to be very possessive. I'm least interested about others, what they're doing it. I'm interested only in my research, and that's where you would be entering with your gap. Identify it and see. Be very possessive about it. Second question, is there any existing review available for me? Now, when I'm talking about review, I'm meaning just 5 or 6 of them. I'm not all max to max 10. I don't want you to do it more than that at all. Just restrict yourself with those reviews. Now, is there something missing in it or not? Check it out very carefully. Take your time, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Don't be in a rush, don't be in a hurry. Just sit quietly, calm yourself, and just see, is there something missing in these reviews for me or not? I have done so much of my studies. Is there something missing for me? If you feel yes, that's the point when you will be going ahead with the systematic review, which is SR. Can I assess the quality of the existing review? Now, that's the question for you, which I'll be taking you through. There's a proper checklist for assessing the quality of the review, and we will see what exactly do I mean by that. That's the next approach for us. Let us first of all focus about, do I really need SR or not? The next is after that. Now, here comes in, or I proceed further with the quality of the existing review. So there are around 15 questions which I have identified. You need to prepare a particular sheet, Excel sheet or a Google spreadsheet. Please dedicate it for each question and start your research. First and foremost, did the existing review explicitly define the population, intervention, comparators, results, outcomes, variables, study designs, scope, implications, etc. Now, there's I think, couple of mistakes in this sheet of mine. This is not scope, it is scopes. Okay, so please rectify that one. So this is your first question that you need to check while you are doing the the final one, I would say, wherein you're identifying with the gaps. Now, you have to identify from the Excel sheet wherein you have done the ROL. Then you have to color it out nicely, pick up the 10 or 6 marks to marks, the good one, and then start questioning these things. Second question, is it enough for my search in terms of the strategy? Again, there's a spelling mistake from my end. It is strategy, not stratgey. And adequacy and appropriateness. So you see from above, I have grilled myself down to 3 more things, that is strategy, adequacy, and appropriateness for the gap I'm talking about. Third one is, did I identify any kind of restrictions? You see, now I don't know how many of you just focus only in English language. If you know some multiple international languages or even the local languages, or the national languages, you should read even those papers also, which I find that some students, like I know Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, I should say, and with help of some of my friends, I asked them to read the Gurmukhi. And this was something which opened my eyes when I had visited a lovely professional university, and I was sitting with some research scholars, and that girl, she came over, she was a research scholar, she came over and she showcased her answer sheet, and she told me, ma'am, can you please see, because I don't feel that my what I have done is the correct. However, my teacher has just put a tick mark and left it. And the moment she showed me, it was in Gurmukhi, and I told her, I'm so sorry, I don't know Gurmukhi. Then she said, I'll read it out. And she took a couple of hours from me. She requested, and this was around 1:30 in the night. She sat with me, and when she read it, I understood the pain the scholar had taken to return, to write that particular paragraphs, few paragraphs on her topic. And then the way she did it, I had to record the entire conversation, so that I liked it so much. I told her, you just wait, let me record it. And when I record, she helped me in reading out, because I could not read Gurmukhi properly. And that's the time when I realized it, why this particular word had been introduced in the gap identification, after meeting that girl. So I don't remember her name also, whosoever she is. God bless her that she opened my eyes. And here comes this one. So did I identify any kind of restrictions in terms of language, publication features like status, citation, date, preferences, etc.? Now we find some very good papers, they have not been cited yet, and there is a need for the citations. Now I find that some papers have been rejected for some, due to some or the other reason. However, it might be relevant. So did I do those kind of things also? The grey literature, did I include it? You see, these things comes in into picture quite a lot. Fourth, there would be, were there any kind of precautionary steps taken for adopted taken or adopted towards the minimization of the biasness and errors? Biasness and errors are very important in our studies. Now, did I identify, or did I take any kind of a precautionary steps to understand that part of it, that yes, this was it? Now, we keep on hearing from the experts around the world, or even from India, whenever I go or I see in some discussions in the groups, focusing on data analysis or research, that I really find people talking about, individuals talking about, or experts commenting, no, the population is not good, the sample is not very good, you'll have to redo it, this is not the one, there's a lot of biasness occurring, there's this error. If these are the discussions, so what did I do for my own research? Now, these are the few things. Again, there's a spelling mistake, it's selection in the last fourth point, biasness and errors in the selection process of the respective study or not. Now, coming over to the fifth point, it says, what appropriate criteria was used from my end towards the assessment of the quality of the primary studies? Fine, I have the primary studies. What kind of checklist, and is it a universal one, or is it my own prepared one? Now, how did I check the criteria, or how did I set the criteria to check the quality of those papers itself, is the question for us. Did I take any preventive steps towards the reduction of the biasness and errors? Now, what about you yourself? Did you take any kind of precautionary steps with the sample size, or with the population, or with the questions, or whatever they are? Seventh question question is, what were the steps taken in the data extraction process, which is the again something that we need to focus on. Was this extraction process enough for the minimization of the biasness and the errors that we are talking about? So these are the 8 questions. The next set of question is that, did I present adequate details for each and every step of the primary studies? Now you see, when I'm showcasing those questions in separate slides, it means that there is a meaning behind those questions. So you need to be very careful when you are answering these questions also. The next question, the ninth, is, did I present adequate details for each and every step? Now I've seen one of the research scholars, she shoot out a mail to me saying that, should I do systematic review just for one question or for each and every question? My suggestion to her is for each and every question. You see, so here comes this one, that yes, you need to take up, and how you're going to do it, you just need to wait for some more time. What kind of appropriate methods and steps were used in the data synthesis? Did I perceive any kind of differences in details of the data synthesis or not? Did I pool these studies together to access them or not? So was I able to pool all of them together or not, is the next question for us. The last 3 questions would be, was it appropriate and meaningful one for me or not? I'm talking about the gap question itself. Was it really meaningful? Did it carry any kind of importance for us? Did I collect the conclusions of the author correctly or not? You see, when you're reading, sometimes it happens that for a moment you are lost somewhere else and you misinterpret. So did you grasp that particular conclusion properly, what the author is giving it to you? It takes a couple of days. Did you catch it, maybe in terms of argument, or it can be the way the analysis was done, or maybe with the conclusion itself. So what did you do? Did you grasp it properly for yourself? Did these conclusions reflect the evidences in the review process or not? So were you able to reflect it in yourself or not? So these are the 15 questions that you need to keep in mind before you proceed further for the systematic review. If you are able to do with these things, then comes with because the basic ROL you have done, and your duty is to form the ROL, which you have done. You have identified the gaps. Now, after the gap has been identified, these are the 15 questions which are mandatory for the systematic review. And this is where your contribution focuses more, your concentration is required, so that you can enter into the next phase of what I call it as the initiation of the systematic review. So I am going to stop here, and I'll be coming up with another next part of the systematic review, wherein we will see whether the questions that I've raised were enough or not. Till then, thanks a lot and take care. Bye.